Transformational Services. I am Farmer-Tolbert. Thank you for tuning in on this week. On last week, we had my niece here. Kayla Farmer was here. We talked about lymphoma cancer. This week, we have her beautiful mother here. Jackie Farmer is here with us. Jackie Brown Farmer, she's here with us today. We want to celebrate her. She calls herself the parent of a warrior. The parent of a lymphoma warrior. And Kayla is the lymphoma warrior. So here we are with Jackie on today. And we're going to be talking about some things about, again, we're going to talk about battling with cancer, struggling with cancer, don't know what to do with cancer, at your wit's end with cancer, just even as a parent. Because Jackie, thank you first of all for coming on today. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here and sharing your story, your journey with your daughter, your only daughter. So as we talk about that journey, as a parent, when you were first made aware that your daughter, which is your only daughter, was diagnosed with cancer, can you just share with us what your initial emotions were?
At first I was confused, afraid for my child, afraid for my family. How was this diagnosis going to change our life, let alone her life? At the time, Kayla was getting ready to go to college, so it was going to be a transformation for her. And the hardest part was telling her, once I received the diagnosis from her physician, telling her that this is the prognosis that they gave. So it was alarming. And at first, it was just so for real. I just couldn't imagine that at this time I was going to be going through this process. Because you never think that your child will ever get diagnosed with cancer, period. And just coming to that realization, I had to stop. I had to pull over the side of the road and stop and take, start praying and take some deep breath. Because at the time, I couldn't even fathom it myself, let alone, again, like telling my family that it was going to be her prognosis. So what was our plan from here? How it was going to change our life? The first thing I thought about was finances. How are we going to cover for this? How it was going to affect my job, her husband's job. Did we have enough time to be off? Was she going to have complications dealing with the disease? It was a whole lot of things. And, coming from a nurse perspective, being in healthcare, I kind of understood what lymphoma was, but at the time, you don't think about being in healthcare and realizing the outcome. You think about, okay, now I'm a parent. So my focus was only as being a parent, not a nurse, not an educator, just being a parent and being there for my family.
And you hear Jackie, she's referring back to being in healthcare herself. Both Kayla, which is my niece, both of her parents are in the medical field. So here it is that now you found yourself to where you're not the caregiver for someone else, but this is your daughter, your baby,
yes,
your only child. So to a parent who may be dealing with just wanting to know, how do I give care for my child, especially if this is my only child? What would you say to a parent?
First thing, I would make sure I tell them, find out exactly what type of cancer your child has. Research that information so you can get an understanding before you meet with the physicians, before they go over the process and the plan of care. Have an idea of what type of treatments that are available for your child. What's your child prognosis? And with Kayla, she got diagnosed with anaplastic large cell lymphoma, which is a rare type of cancer. And it affects the lymphatic system, and lymphatic system kind of helps us to fight infections in our body. And we have two different types of cells with lymphoma, B cells and T cells, that help fight out infection. Hers was more on the T cell, so it got categorized as non-Hodgkin lymphoma, which is really rare. It starts off as a lesion on the skin. Could be a lesion anywhere. Tumor just comes up on the skin out of the blue. And with Kayla, because hers was rare, on the non-Hodgkin side, she developed a lesion. Okay, we're assuming that once we remove the lesion, everything's going to be fine. But even with anaplastic large cell lymphoma, there's a 10% chance that the disease will spread systemic. That means go into her blood system. With it being so rare, she fell in that 10% category to the point that it invaded her lymphatic system. And when it invades your lymphatic system, you have to really be concerned with, is it going to spread anyplace else? That means go into all of your lymph nodes that we have throughout our body to help fight infection. In hers, it did. It went to her spine, so it spread to her liver, and then she developed these large nodules under her arm. My biggest concern with making sure, did it get inside her spine? With it being so rare, which would decrease her chance for remission or being cured from the disease. And so when we got the diagnosis that it didn't go into her spinal fluid, that was like a relief. But even though we knew that it was on her spinal column, so it was on her vertebrae, it was on her liver, it was on her arms, it was in her groin, it was like all over her body. And she started developing the symptoms of that. Severe back pain. So we knew what her treatments were going to be real aggressive. So we knew that it was going to be a period of time that she's going to have to go through chemotherapy. So that was like a transformation.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And I know a lot of you may not understand everything that she said, especially for those who are viewing from other countries. You may have to go back and maybe watch this 2 or 3 times to get a total understanding of everything that you hear going on here, because I do understand that some words don't translate the same as to other countries as English does. But however, we want to come on here and we want to, the main reason is to encourage those of you who may be in the struggle, who may be going through this, and from just a parent's point of view, because as I said on last week, I have not experienced this as a parent or had a child that has gone through this. Kayla is my niece. She's very close to me, but yet she's still not my natural born child. So that makes a difference. And so what are some things that you would say help you to keep your mind, if you will, just in this journey, on this journey?